I am delighted to introduce to Cirke Cherokee. Thank you, Cirke, for taking the time to travel all the way to Portland to visit me here today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. Yeah.
Cirque has been studying with me for a while, and she is not only a Qigong coach but also a vocal coach. So let me ask you to share with us a little bit about your journey that made you who you are, a vocal coach, Qigong coach, and all the wonderful things that you are.
Yeah. A singer, I would say, it's probably what brought me to coaching.
Ah,
Singing from when I was a little bitty kid was my favorite thing of all things. And I would sing loud and all the time and go nuts around the house. And people would tell me to shut up a lot. And it kind of continued actually into school, high school. It's like people would be like, "Whew, she's loud." So yeah, I'm pretty loud. But yeah, like so singing, I just sang and loud and didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have any technique. I didn't know anything about breathing. I just wanted to sing, that just felt really good.
that's the
Just
expression.
like get it all out there. Yeah. And then I started losing my voice and I started becoming really hoarse. And it was almost like I couldn't trust my own voice. I never knew if this was going to be a good concert where people would go home and be like, wow, that red-haired girl, she was really good. Or, ooh, she should take some coaching, right? So it was always hard for me to trust what I would get on the day. And that's frustrating when you start singing concerts because
Right.
you would like to perform something that people would love to listen to, not something that people go, oh. So I lost my voice a couple of times when I stopped high school. And it was kind of a brief period. I remember this one time where actually when we graduated high school, my best friend, so I was supposed to sing, but then I lost my voice. So who sang? My best friend instead. And everybody was like, oh, she was amazing. And she was really amazing. She sounded amazing. And I was just standing out there on the sidelines, so jealous and sad that I wanted to be the one singing there. And it continued up through the years that I just couldn't control my voice. And after high school, I started taking vocal lessons because I was like, I need to learn how to sing. So I went to the local vocal coach, and I learned some things. But I still didn't feel like I could completely trust my voice, even though she took me through techniques and singing scales and do this and do that with your mouth and your throat, and it didn't really help me cure my core issue, which was losing my voice and becoming hoarse. And so then I was like, okay, well, so I had multiple vocal coaches. Like I tried all kinds of techniques, all kinds of backgrounds, opera singers, classically trained, jazz singers, all kinds of choir conductors. I had so many coaches. And then in 2011, I completely lost my voice, like completely for months. And at that time, I had just spent 3 years trying to get into the desired music school that would be the preparation for the Danish music conservatory, which was
Right.
the thing you go to if you want to become a real singer, right?
Right.
And I just got in. I spent 3 years auditioning because you can only audition once a year. And I finally got in and I was so good and it was rolling. I started my first band. I was doing concerts all over Denmark where I'm from with my gospel choir. Just like things were coming together, but then I lost my voice completely and it didn't come back, and it come back maybe a little bit, but and I was like, oh no. So I remember asking my choir conductor, can I just mime this concert? Can I just be like a lip syncer? I'll bring the energy, but I can't, my voice is not there. And he looked at me going, of course I love having you there, but I'm concerned about your voice because I think you should get it checked out by a doctor because this is not normal. And at that point I was like, is it not normal to have a hoarse voice you can't control? Because that's all I've ever tried. But and another classical trained singer came to me, said you should probably get it checked. So I went to the doctor and he had a camera down my throat, looked at my vocal cords, and there he saw 2 blisters, or what you would call nodules or nodes on your vocal cords, basically cysts filled with blood. It was nasty looking. And so my vocal cords didn't function the right way. And at the time, I didn't know what that meant. Like vocal cords not functioning. So I had to kind of figure out, so how does vocal cords function? And I researched and I tried to find someone who could help me, mentor me so that I could get my voice back. And the guru, the Danish guru, had just opened, as vocal coach guru, just opened a singing education. And it was only for singers that had gone through a conservatory already. But she met me and she heard my voice and she made an exception. She said she heard potential in my voice, but she also knew that if I didn't get help now, I would never sing again. And my doctor had told me, you need surgery if you want to be a singer. You can't just go out and sing. You need to have surgery. And I was like, oh, a knife in my throat. No, I can't do that. So I went with this very, very expensive 2-year singing education to get to learn how to be a vocal coach and a singer, better singer. And 6 months in, via her really connecting me to my body and to the muscles that are tensed and just holding space for me, I healed my vocal cords so that the cysts went away. So so I went back to the doctor 6 months later and he looked down my throat and he was like, what did you do? This has never happened before. I've never seen this before. And then it was so awesome because I healed my hoarseness. And now the doctor and that vocal coach, of course, started working together because he was like, well, I want to sing singers to you rather than cut them, right? Cutting them. So it's awesome. Yeah. So that's what really brought me to, I need to be a vocal coach. I want to coach this. I want to help singers with this because that's what's so needed out there. Right. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, that's a great story and also a journey of overcoming adversity that you personally experienced. And I would also imagine that now people seek you out, especially if they want to become good singers, and perhaps not even singers. Do all people that come to you as coaching clients want to sing, or perhaps some of them come to you for some other reasons?
Well, they come to me mostly because they don't like the sound of their voice. Like, that's the biggest reason. And then some of them like singing as a hobby. Some of them just are recording themselves speaking or trying to do video content and they just can't stand how they sound. And they get frustrated and then it's like they come and they say, well, Cirke, I can hear it all in my head. I know how it's supposed to come out. I know how it feels. But when I try to express it, it just, my throat just, goes into tension and it just goes locked. Like, it just blocks. So I can't get it out. So it's really actually people who don't know how to express themselves. Like, don't know how to express their creative being. That's what I help them with.
Fantastic. Well, is it something that you would be able to describe to us a little bit, like how you coach people? Like, what's the process?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to say it's a come as you are with the voice that you have on that day process. It's like, come, just be you. I look at the whole person, so if you come to me and you feel anxious or sad or really, really, truly happy, then we go with that day because your voice will reflect that, right? And then on the days when you come and you feel really sad or depressed and you feel almost like maybe there's something blocked in you or you're so tensed and you can't figure out what it is, well, then we go in and look at what energies are blocked here. Like, what in muscle, so first through the muscle tension, maybe you have a blocked throat. Like, what's going on in that throat? We go in and release the muscle tension, which can also actually create a very emotional release or even a psychological release of, oh, I just remembered my childhood trauma when I was stuck on the roof or whatever it might be. That scared me so much, so I dared not speak of it again. And instead of going back and then looking at the trauma, then, and dive deep into the trauma, oh, what happened, let's talk more about it, we go in and look at, oh, so you had this trauma, So, okay, where is it located in the body? How can you change your perspective, and what can you, and look at the trauma so you can learn something from it?
Oh,
And then
brilliant.
how can you bring that lesson into your life today so that you can actually learn to control your voice and be in control of your voice even on the days where you feel really, really sad, because then you know how to shift the perspective and go, oh, it's just a matter of changing my perspective so I can still express the emotion instead of letting the emotion take over my entire system.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that also when there is an emotion, there is a way to learn how to express that authentically,
Yeah.
rather than trying to suppress, oh, this emotion is not allowed. You actually permit an energy associated with that emotion to run its course. And actually, instead of festering or feeling like it's being bottled in, it just runs its course and it's no longer affecting you so much.
Yeah, it's the acceptance of the emotion, right? Like once
Mm-hmm.
you really accept it, you dare to go look at it. Once, if you
Right.
try and run away from it and push it away, it's this scary thing. It's almost like a fear of the feeling rather than
Right.
the fear of the fear. Or like it's like fear of feeling the feeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but and if I may just like tie in a story with that, like because when I was a young singer, right after my voice, when I healed my voice, technically, or like I was not hoarse anymore, then actually all hell broke loose because then all my emotions came out from the from all the times from I was 0 or like maybe 5 when I started singing till I was what 23 4 when I healed my voice. All of those times where I wanted to express something but couldn't because my voice was hoarse or I sounded raspy or I was tensed, that was all traumatic experiences.
Or people
almost.
told you to shut up.
Oh, people told me to shut up. Like, don't be so loud, right? Don't be so much. Don't be who you are. Oh, well, who am I going to be then, right? Yeah. Well, so I cried a lot when I sang because now there was like flow. Like, so I cried. That was my way of releasing. And I had another vocal coach. Like I said, I had many on the preparation, path for the music conservatory. And she one day, I would come in and I would cry almost every time. And I would cry and I would cry. But then I would get some good singing in the end. And I came in one day, we started singing, I started crying. She got so mad, so angry. She took her hands, she banged them in the piano and she said, when the heck are you gonna leave your emotions outside the door so we can just sing? And I was traumatized from that experience. And instead of going out there and sing the concerts with confidence that I was kind of building and going after my dream and actually making the audition for the conservatory, I didn't. I actually stopped. I never even applied to the conservatory.
So in a sense, she kind of pulled the rug from under you because instead of acceptance
Yes.
and supporting you and empowering you, she did the opposite. She kind of disempowered you by trying to suppress.
Exactly. And that's why when clients come to me, I make the greatest effort in always telling you out there that you can always be exactly who you are. If you need to cry, then you cry. If you need to laugh, then you laugh. If you need to walk around and dance, just don't take all of your clothes off. I think that's probably a limit of mine, right? Like, no, but I'm like literally, like, we express our emotions in so many ways. And once you get the jitter out, whether that is crying or, going into the weak spots of, in Qigong coaching, we work with, going into the tension. Do you have tension? Then let's tense it up. Let's feel it. Feel the emotions behind the tension so that the body can release it itself. And you can consciously release it rather than, I'm tensed, I don't want to be tensed, right?
Right, trying to basically suppress tension can only be done with more tension.
Yes.
Then you end up with twice as much tension.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So no suppression, like come as you are, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, and that sounds like there's a permission for being authentic.
Definitely.
Is authenticity one of the core values of your coaching?
Absolutely. It's one of the core values that I myself every day have to remind myself that this is the path I'm on. Myself as a human being. Dare to be authentic, Cirke. Okay, I'm going to go on Facebook and share something about the voice, but I feel really vulnerable today. Well, then, do I dare share that? Will people benefit from it? Yes, because that's me. I share all of me, right? So I myself is still on this journey, and I don't believe we ever get finished. So that's what I would love to share with my clients as well. And that's what I got from going into Qigong coaching. I was so lucky that my husband introduced me to you, and I trust my husband explicitly. So he just, you have to come with me to the workshop, this weekend workshop. And I just followed, and I was like, okay, something body, okay, whatever, let's do it. I had never heard about Qigong before. And I meet you, and in one weekend, you helped me release tension in my back, become more centered and more authentic. So after that one weekend, I went straight home and I implemented all the things I remembered from my workshop in my coaching. And I just saw the singers I coach grow so fast. And I implemented it in my own singing, performance, coaching, and I was like, wow, this works. And then, of course, when you later on was like, should you maybe sign up for the apprenticeship and become a Qigong coach? I'm like, yes, I definitely think I should. Because it's in singing and performing and music out there, I feel like that was the missing link for me, the missing piece, that it doesn't have to be only about singing exercises up and down the scales, or only have to be about the body, or only have to be about the spiritual side, or only the energy, or only crying, right? We can actually combine all of it and invite all of you so that I can coach you with all of me. Yeah.
Inviting all of me to come and receive your coaching. Well, I will be delighted to experience your coaching.
Ooh, yay. Cool.
Well, so how would you demonstrate perhaps on me as an example of a coaching client where I would be able to start?
So let me first ask you, what do you love about your voice?
I think I have a pretty strong voice. It's relatively authentic. I don't try to sound like somebody else. There is a reasonable variety, but I think also I could be more varied in my vocal expressions. English being my third language, I think my voice is often a bit monotone. I've record a lot of videos and produce podcasts and all kinds of things where I can listen to myself. I don't have any negative judgments about myself, like, oh, I sound terrible. But I could certainly see that there's room for improvement.
Yeah. So would you say that the improvement would be to have a more varied voice, or have more dynamics in your voice? Or
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? Okay. Yeah, okay, beautiful. Well, English is only my second language, so I can only imagine how it is to be your third language. And that definitely will do something to your voice, that you suddenly have to speak with different sounds, and you think more about the words that come out rather than just let them come out, right? Or at least that's how I feel when I try and speak English every day.
Yeah, sometimes it's like, how do you say this in this language?
Yeah, exactly.
Especially if you speak several languages.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you say it in Japanese? Oh, wait a moment. I'm mixing it with Chinese.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. That's very impressive, actually. Okay. So how would you say the sun is shining and the sky is blue in your first language? Try and say that.
Солнце светит и небо голубое.
Okay. And then try and say it in English.
Sun is shining and the sky is blue.
Okay, cool. Do you feel any different?
A little bit.
What was the difference?
I would say maybe there is a little bit of a richness in the voice when I speak my native language. And there's a little bit less of that, like a little bit more shallow, so to speak, expression when I speak in English.
Wow, you have a beautiful awareness of your voice already.
Huh.
See, that was hard for me to say, awareness and voice.
Yes.
Just talking. So when you speak in Russian, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Then you have a tone that is more, it sounds like more of a core voice, your core truth, your true voice, which is like, I love working with your true voice. When you shifted to English, there was a tiny bit, it's like you eased off the pedal, a little accelerated pedal a little bit. And what that means is that you invite less tone, more air. So that you can hear a little bit of the air coming out rather than just the tone. So how do we go in and help that with training our support system? So there's many exercises we could do, but let's simply start with the pelvic floor.
Okay.
We are so focused in our society on inhaling. Like, did I get the inhale? Like, because if I don't inhale, I will die, right? But really, we could actually benefit from focusing on exhaling more.
Right.
So let's just try that. If you kind of sit up straight, like right now we're comfortable leaning back, right? And sit up a little straighter. And then just put your hand on your lower belly and just exhale all air out and push the lower belly in. Yeah. And then try and put resistance on your exhale next time. So like a tss. Yeah, let's do that one more time. And if you're out there listening, you can of course do this with us.
Hiss with us.
Yeah, hiss with us. Okay, then let's try and hear you say, the sun is shining and the sky is blue, I think. Yeah.
The
In English.
sun is shining and the sky is blue.
Yeah, wow. There was so much more warmth in your voice this time. Did you notice that?
I did.
Much more tone and sounded
Right.
more relaxed. Yeah, because now I looked at the way you hold your body too. It's like you gave your tongue, which is attaching down here, right?
All right.
You gave your tongue a little bit of a break, so there was not as much tension coming here because now there was more flow because your pelvic floor was engaged.
That's right.
Isn't that beautiful how that works?
It's beautiful.
So let's just for the fun of it, since we talk about tongue, since we in Qigong coaching like going into the weak link or into the tension. And if a muscle is tensed, it means that it is weak, not
Indeed.
that it's strong, right?
Absolutely.
So if we go into your tongue tension, can you simply pull back your tongue, almost like you feel like you swallow it? And everyone can do this too out there. So you pull it back and then you breathe here while you just hold that tension. And don't go so far so it hurts you. Only go to your edge. We don't want to hurt yourself. The whole saying that no pain, no gain, it doesn't apply here. So just keep holding that tension in your tongue and breathe. And just notice your breathing pattern. There you go. That's a good sigh of relief. And when you feel a sigh of relief, you can let the tongue go a little bit and maybe go back into tension, but not as much tension. Yeah. And when you feel another sigh of relief, then you can release the tongue a little bit more. Yeah, you might feel something going on in your neck too. This affects the neck for sure. And just notice your breathing pattern. And once you let go of have another sigh of relief, then you can kind of let the tongue go a little bit more. Yeah, and then just try and let your tongue hang and see if it can connect with the teeth and the back of the teeth down here. Just hang on. And then just open your mouth and stretch out your tongue. And then a little bit, not too much, we'll kind of go put a hand on your chest and have your tongue out and look up slightly to lengthen the tongue a little bit. But not too much. Some people will go all way up, but we don't want to overstretch the tongue because then it becomes real angry with us. Yeah, we don't want that. So then try and close your mouth around your tongue and look up slightly. And just feel how it lengthens the tongue. And you can go side to side a little bit. Notice your breathing pattern again. You might feel some sigh of relief. And come back to center and take your tongue back in. Okay. And just move your tongue a little bit in your mouth, whatever feels good. Or outside your mouth. We don't care. Right? Yeah. There you go. Okay. And then let's do it again. The sun is shining and the sky is blue.
The sun is shining and the sky is blue.
Wow, yeah. So it's funny because your voice your range is getting a little bit lower now. You're having a lower range, but it sounds way more relaxed. So I wondered how it would sound if we went up. So what if you go up in your range and say, the sun is shining and the sky is blue?
The sun is shining and the sky is blue.
Beautiful, yeah. So now you have this range, and if you notice something about your voice, it is that there is more tone coming out now. Before there was a little bit of a
Hiss.
hiss, yeah, maybe a hiss sometimes, or a little bit of a or maybe a squeak. The sun is shining. I'm exaggerating. You don't sound like that, right? But like a little bit of the sun is shining. There would be a little squeaks or little, something like that maybe coming out because you were a little tense in your tongue, and there wasn't enough airflow or support from your pelvic floor. Now that you're supporting, you can say that sentence. You can go, and the sky is blue and the sun is shining. So try and really go up and down like that.
The sun is shining and the sky is blue.
Yes, very good, Lama. That was awesome. How did it feel?
Good. There was one part of that spectrum of voice that had a little glitch in it.
A little bit of a break. Yeah. Yeah. And that happens when we shift gear between our chest voice and our head voice. Chest voice, head voice. And there's a gear shift in the middle, which is called the middle voice.
Right.
So, and that takes maybe a little longer to go through that. But you dared to still go into that break rather than running away from it. And that I want to really compliment you for, because you just noticed it. Oh, there's a little weak link there. Well, that's maybe then where we would focus next. Like going into the weak link.
Right.
And maybe even ask you the story about your voice. For example, as a man, maybe you've heard that your voice has to sound monotone because else I won't be taken seriously. Or do you have any stories like that?
I probably have some stories like that because, growing up in Russia behind the Iron Curtain and serving in the military, and I was a sergeant. So it's not like you go very expressive with your voice when you're a sergeant.
You gotta make people do what you want, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have to be very kind of stern and masculine and macho, and the macho voice doesn't sound very expressive and emotional.
Yeah.
So
but now
definitely.
Sorry, but yeah, go ahead.
Oh, there's definitely connection between machismo on one hand and flat sounding voice on the other hand.
Yeah. Where now, however, you're probably one of the most relaxed and flow people I know. So now you can invite your voice maybe. I wonder if you can invite your voice to also be in that flow. Oh, you want me to go up? I'll go up. I want you to go down, and then I'll go down. And almost like, this is something that's just coming to me right now, but we talk about the flow of water a lot in Qigong.
Right.
Like the water will just flow around an obstacle, or it will never try to jump over it, right? Or
beat
go away from it, right? So if you imagine that the water flow, that, if you turn on the faucet, the water flow starts from your pelvic floor every time. Then the water can flow and your voice can flow wherever you want it to go.
And voice is also an expression of the element of air. And that's another really important element, unfortunately, in most Qigong styles, not really being addressed, because the Chinese system of 5 elements includes the element of earth, metal, wood, water, and fire, and skips the element of air completely. And so there are very few styles of Qigong, usually those that come from Tibet, that actually address the element of air practices, which is exactly where the voice comes particularly handy. So that's a really good observation. Let's see if you can give our viewers something that they would be able to take away with them and maybe try at home.
Yeah. I want to say, number one, when you work with your voice, relax. Because I see so many singers and so many people come to me or in general, when I try and sing, come like, okay, I'm ready to sing now. And what happens to my voice when I do this? It's very hard to sing, right?
Almost like you're trying to dance tango.
Yeah. So relaxing, that's the number one thing. So whatever makes you relax. And of course, we would do lots of relaxation practices when you come to me for coaching as well. But if you're not with me right now, whatever relaxes you. And then, to heck with how it sounds at first. When you really start working with your voice. Of course, we use it now with Lama because it's such a tangible example. You can hear immediately, oh, it changed. But when you sing and perform, try and not care so much how it sounds when you do these technical things. And because it's like going to the gym and you started and you're a half hour in and you haven't been to the gym in 3 years, and you're looking in the mirror going, do I have a six-pack yet?
Yeah.
No, probably not, right? And that's the same with the singing. So if you start training your voice and then you go a half hour in going, why is it not perfect? Why am I not on pitch yet? What's going on? Well, you might need to practice a little more, right?
No doubt.
So yeah, so that would be one thing.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Cirke, for taking the time to work with me and also share about your practice. How would our viewers be able to find you if they want to take advantage of your offerings?
Yeah. So you would go to powervocals.net, and Power Vocals is one word, or you can go to Facebook to Cirke Cherokee or Power Vocals, or Instagram, Power Vocals, or Cirke Music. That's the Instagram one. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much once again.
Thank you.